Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to bead embroider a Picot edge. Here we have a project where we've taken a cabochon and we've done some bead embroidery around it, and then we've already gone ahead and mounted it on some ultra suede. So now we just need to finish it. We need to cover up this edge where the foundation and the ultra suede are sandwiched together. And I want to do a Picot edge. That's one way of doing it. For that, I'm going to need to repeat some of the beads I have already stitched. You could do different beads, but I think it actually looks very nice to have it more of a cohesive feel and use some of the beads already used in the piece. So to decide which beads you want to do is a total personal preference. Since I just ended in purple, I think I'm going to want to do some gold, and then since I just have the black right here, I'm going to want to do some black as well. And the black beads are actually a bit smaller than the gold, which I think will add an interesting element as well. The amount of threads you're going to need is going to be dependent, of course, on how big of a piece you're doing and how far around you're going to have to go. For this guy here, I'm going to need about 4 feet. So to begin, I'm going to pick up one bead onto my beading needle. I have not tied a knot at the end of my beading thread, and you'll see why in the end. I'm going to want to go ahead and insert my needle between 2 of the beads on the outer edge of my beadwork. And I'm just going to push it. Don't quite want it that far. There we go. I'm going to push it all the way through. Pull your thread through. Make sure you leave a tail of about 8 inches because you're going to need to thread a needle on that in the final step. So I just pulled my thread so it's no longer sticking upright. I don't want it sticking like this. I want it pulled over to the side. And I want to go through that bead. And I want it to be coming straight out from my cabochon. So I don't want it pointed down, I don't want it pointed up, I want it just coming straight out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up another bead, and for this one I'm going to do a black bead, and now I'm going to do another gold, and I'm going to go back through the top side. So it's underneath, top side. I'm going to move over about the width of a bead, of one of my gold beads, and go down through both the foundation and the ultra suede. Pull. Again, I want this to be along the edge. And now I'm going to go back up just through the gold bead. And we have our first Picot edge, if you can see that. So now I'm going to repeat that same process. I'm going to pick up a black bead and a gold bead. Go from, you want to kind of get under that last row of beading. Go through both layers. Pull. Then go up through the gold bead. And pull, and you want to make sure it's sitting along the edge. So I'm going to do a couple more. And you can see how that's starting to look. And you're just going to want to go all the way around the edge. Now if you happen to make a mistake, don't try to push your needle back through. Go ahead, take your needle off of your thread and pull your thread out, then rethread your needle. So continue going all the way around until you come back to where you started. I've almost finished beading along the exterior of the cabochon. You can see I just have a little gap I'm going to fill in here, and this is what it looks like so far. You can see the stitching on the back. I've tried to keep it as uniform as possible. So I'm just going to complete the last couple stitches here, and then I'm going to show you how to tie it off. So I'm going to pick up a black bead and a gold bead in my case. Whatever pattern you're doing, pick up your beads accordingly for your Picot edge. And then pull through both layers of the foundation and the backing, and then up through that gold bead again and pull. It's just a repetitive motion. I actually find this very soothing, much like knitting or crocheting. So this looks like it's going to be my last bead. So I don't think I can get another gold bead in that gap, but let's take a look when it's done. Yep, so my ends meet. So now to finish this, what I want to do is I need one more black bead so that I have a nice uniform edge. So I'm going to pick up a black bead. Instead of adding another gold bead though, I'm going to go down through the gold bead I first strung, and I'm actually going to try to catch some of the backing in here as well. And pull. So it completes my picot edge. And I've got this tail, which was the original tail when I first started beading. And what you can do is if you don't have a second needle, you can take your needle off of your string right now. You're going to string it onto this tail end. If you have a second needle, I think it's just as easy to go ahead and just thread that needle. Now I want to go through the black bead and the gold bead and my backing. I didn't catch enough of the backing there. There we go. And pull through. All right, so now you can see I've got a completed edge. Just adjusting it, making sure I like how it looks. So on the top side, it looks good. And now I've got two tails coming out of the backing. My needle slipped off, but you're going to want to keep it on if you can. And now I'm just going to tie a knot. See, just tying a simple knot. Go back, do a surgeon's knot or a double knot. So it's kind of just going through once, going through again. I'm trying to hold on to my tail and just pulling down. And now the reason I said I want you to keep that needle on, you can just rethread it though if it came off like mine. So now you want to go in, take your thread, and you want to weave this into your beadwork a little bit so you don't have those tails on the back side. So you can just go ahead and weave it into your beadwork. So I'm just going to now weave it in. Once you've woven it in, you're just going to take your thread zapper, carefully zap that thread. It's now hidden. You'll go back to the other side. If you had two needles, the needle should already be on that. If you're doing one needle, you just rethread it. And we're going to go ahead and weave this tail in as well. And use the thread zapper again. And there we go. We have a finished piece and we're ready to go on to either the next step, which can be creating a bail, incorporating this into a design. You can go ahead and put a pin back on here and call it good and make it into a beautiful brooch. But this part is now complete.